Ever started a new job bursting with so many amazing ideas only to feel ignored? Are you so eager to impress everyone that you're missing the big picture? Because your over eagerness to impress potentially causing you to actually sabotage your first 30 days on the job? Would you be open to me providing you a blueprint to truly lead from day one? Let me tell you a short story. And I promise this is this is a true story. See, when I first started out as a project manager, as a business analyst, it seemed like it was the same thing over and over again. You're like, well, what do you mean? Well, it always started with the first thing. I was bursting with energy. Matter of fact, I was so excited. Honestly, just a picture a fire hose that was ready to blast the organization with every great idea, with every plan, with every best practice I had in my toolkit. I was determined to prove that the organization had made the right choice in hiring me. I mean, I was showing up at people's desks saying, "Hey, let's streamline this together. Hey, let's optimize that. Hey, I'm pretty sure at one point there was one coworker that hid behind a potted plant to actually avoid my barrage of suggestions. Well, it didn't take long for my manager to pull me aside and say, "Hey, Ed, I know you can do the job. That's why I hired you. But first, you got to meet people where they are and then take them up with you." At that moment, family, I had an aha moment. And see, an aha moment for me is that in more or less that single sentence alone hit me like a bucket of ice water. I was so focused on showing how great I was. I never stopped to really truly understand how ready or not ready everyone else was for my ideals. From that moment on, I realized that truly guiding an organization means first understanding the culture, its people, and the actual comfort zone of everyone. Only then you can successfully nudge them towards improvement without drenching them in a tidal wave of change that they're not prepared for. So today, we're going to kick it off with point number one: meet the organization where they are, then guide them toward improvement. Begin your tenure by genuinely understanding the current maturity, challenges, and capabilities and pace of the organization. Avoid immediately pushing for large scale changes before fully grasping the existing landscape. Why is this important? Because meeting stakeholders where they are, you build immediate trust, immediate credibility. It also ensures any recommendations for improvement or transformation are realistic, incremental, and more likely to be embraced by the actual organization. Here's my thoughts, family, right or wrong. This is a word. This wasn't even what I was going to talk about, but I think it's important to add this to some consultation thoughts. Position yourself as a supportive partner rather than a critical outsider encouraging buy-ins, because this is going to build trust and significantly enhance your ability to successfully implement meaningful and lasting change. So again, position yourself as a supportive partner rather than a critical outsider, because again, this is going to encourage the buy-in, the build of trust, and things of that nature. Here's my actionable tips I would love for you to experiment with. Assess the current practices, respect existing processes, and acknowledge past efforts and achievements openly. Once you've done that, establish and identify target areas for incremental improvement, clearly linking each phase to both short wins, or I should say short-term wins, as well as long-term strategic objectives. Point number two, you need to identify those key stakeholders. Create a stakeholder map listing individuals and groups who have an interest or an influence in your project. Why is this important? When you recognize who matters early, it helps you manage relationships effectively and tailor your communication to different needs. I would love you to experiment with this. Maintain a matrix that captures stakeholders' roles, communication, as well as their decision-making authority. And when I say communication, meaning their communication preference, whether it's email, phone, Teams, Asana, whatever that looks like. Point number 3, message. If you're new to the episode, anytime that I say message, this is one of those bullet points that you want to pay attention to. Now, if you're driving, come back to this point later. But seriously, family, schedule introductory meetings. Again, schedule introductory meetings. Set up short 15 to 30-minute meetings with your direct supervisors, the project team, and key stakeholders. Why are these so valuable? These are valuable because these meetings clarify expectation. They give you a sense of team dynamics and help you understand each person's pain points and objective. Here's my actionable tip I would love for you to experiment. Prepare a concise agenda and ask stakeholders about their immediate priorities to demonstrate your proactive approach. And when you're putting these agendas together that you send to the person or that you're going to meet with, I would recommend that you basically send it to them first and add, is there anything they would like to add on there? Because the more you can get them involved in the process of during these introduction meetings, the better the conversation is going to go, as well as they're going to see that you care about what they're doing. And afterwards, make sure that you provide a recap of what you guys talked about, even if it's at a very high level, to show that you respected their actual time. Point number 4, review existing documentation. Examine existing requirement documents like your project charter, the process flows, and any historical analysis that will give you a better insight into the organization. This is important because background information provides the context for your new initiatives, and it prevents rework by learning from past efforts. Here's my actionable tip I would love for you to experiment with. Create a quick reference file or notes summarizing the most critical data points and documentation for easy reference. Point number 5, gather requirements strategically. The key word here, family, is strategically. Begin engaging stakeholders in requirement gathering sessions using interviews, workshops, and surveys. This is important because early discovery of business needs and requirements prevents the nasty word that all individuals in this craft hate, is scope creep. So it prevents scope creep and it ensures accurate project direction. Here's an actionable tip I would love for you to experiment with. Use structured interview templates or standardized questionnaires to ensure consistent and comprehensive requirement collection. And as you're building out these standardized documents and templates, continue to tweak or iterate as you continue to learn more information. This will help you in the next interview. And I always recommend doing one-on-ones versus a group, because if you do a group, you may have people that may not feel comfortable speaking up, or they may be shy, etc. So do one-on-one interviews. It would give you more, I believe it give you a more quality feedback. Point number 6, conduct a gap analysis. You want to be able to compare the current state of the business process or systems with the desired future state by identifying gaps in functionality as well as process areas. This is important. A structured gap analysis clarifies problem that needs solving, and it guides the creation of actionable improvement steps. Here's my actionable tip I would love for you to experiment with. Present the findings with a clear before and after diagram. This is where we're showing more visual aspects to help stakeholders visualize proposed changes. So you have it in writing, as well as you have a visual map of what this looks like before and after page. Point number 7, create a glossary of terms. I talked about this in an earlier episode about really, acronyms and things like that the business may use. So document common business and technical terminology, acronyms, and definitions to ensure everyone shares the same understanding. Why this is important is because miscommunication due to jargon or unclear terms is a common reason why projects go off track. Here's what I would ask you to do to experiment with on this actionable tip. Circulate this glossary to team members and invite feedback on additions to keep it dynamic. You don't want to keep this document static. You want to keep it constantly evolving. Point number 8, the retrospective. Reflect, and document learning. If you don't remember anything else from today's episode, I probably should have called out message. This point, and I saved it for the last for my people that love to really take the time to go through the episode. So I'm not going to tell you if you didn't get here. So if you're here, you're listening to my voice. First of all, I want to say, well done. Second of all, I want to let you know it's important at the end of your first 30 days, review what went well and what could also be improved. Document these insights. And you want to do this over, I say your first 90 days, I would recommend doing this. Why is this important? Regular reflection helps you refine your approach and sets you up for a better performance in the actual next phases. And it contributes to the organizational knowledge. This could help somebody else when they're on board in another resource. Let's say there's 2 business analysts in this particular organization and they want to bring on more. They will be able to, you will be proactive by providing them your learnings over the 90 days by doing it in 30-day increments that could help them onboard someone better. And also, it looks good that you don't take what you're doing lightly, that you respect the process, you respect the journey. Here's my actionable tip I would love for you to experiment with. Create a simple retrospective document shared with your manager, and also include concrete next steps and resources needed. Just don't create the document and not do anything about it. Meaning, if you say, man, I probably need to engage more stakeholders. Well, what is your plan to engage more stakeholders? Well, family, we're at our final thoughts. So I want you to turn these insights into actual action. Listen, I love that you listened to me today, but that was the easy part. The real growth begins now through actual action. Remember, as you embark on a journey as a new business analyst, it's not just about knowing what to do. It's about being consistent in doing it. So here are the 3 points that I really think everyone needs to understand. Meet the organization where they're at, then guide them toward an improvement. I always say pause and then truly understand the current state before driving change. You also want to be able to look at the real impact. Where does the real impact actually begin? And then you want to respectfully build from where the organization already stands. Number 2, schedule introductory meetings. You want to prioritize being authentic in relationships early. And then the second one, you want to better know your stakeholders so you can provide better solutions when you actually deliver them. And the last and final one, the retrospective, which I think is the key. Everything that this journey you've been on in the first 30 days. So you want to commit to regular reflection. Don't skip this step. This step is actually what's going to fuel your actual growth. And then continuous improvement is the secret that every professional knows, but don't share a lot. But I'm sharing it with you because I care about you. Here's your move. Take action. Taking action is truly what's going to set you apart. Whether you're adapting to a new existing culture, building stakeholder relationships, or learning from past experience, each step you take and each improvement you make pushes you and your organization closer to achieving meaningful, sustainable success. Here's a quick quote. Ideals alone don't create results. You know what does? Action does. So your next step actually matters. Well, family, if you're new to the episode, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, hey, listen, that just simply means Ed. Until next time.